Hey gang, Nathan, TransMidwife. Right, my first year and a half of midwifery, part 2, because it's a long thing to explain. Okay, so we got to the big crescendo, the first 8 months of qualifying, and it was sort of like really high for the first couple of months, then really struggling and struggling to find my feet and getting really nervous, panicky, just panicking about everything that went wrong, thinking that's it, I'm fucked, pin number gone, end of. And then I got over the big crescendo, I came out, I was me and I was okay, and I still had my pin somehow. And then yeah, so we're now about 8 months qualified. The performance review behind me, just a band 5 midwife again. And slowly, tick, 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 I started to feel like I knew a bit about what the fuck I was doing. And that was great. And yeah, so I started to get that confidence looking after people. I really found my confidence on the ward, I would say, on the postnatal ward particularly. And then on labour ward, the other thing that the managers did for me was just like organise it so that I spent long stretches of time always going to labour ward and not working anywhere else. And that was really important. I just needed exposure therapy. I needed to get used to it, get over it, and find enjoyment in a tough working world. And that happened. And I did start to enjoy labour ward and feel comfy there and be really excited to be at births, however they happened. And I even started teaching others. So sort of 8, 9, 10 months, I was getting quite confident. I was teaching others. I maybe had a student or two, and that was cool. The students loved me. If any of them are watching, we had a great time, didn't we? It was fun. And that really made me, I started to feel valued again. That was the most important thing. When my job position was being questioned because I was struggling, I just didn't feel valued, and that made me not want to come into work. And I think that was the hardest thing. But once that was all behind me, I started to feel valued, and I started to feel like they need me here. I'm like I'm like, I don't know, 10% or 20% of today's workforce. they wouldn't be okay without me. And yeah, that really kind of drove me to give it my best. And I just had some fantastic experiences and some really hard pushed but positive ones. So like ridiculously busy shifts, but a matron that knew what she was doing and was really strong in the role. And so she was sort of using it. Sometimes it's like she's using us like chess pieces, and she's the person looking at the board like, okay. So all the midwives, like we're doing labour ward, all the midwives are in a room, and she's starting to have to pull you out of that room, put you in that room, just to kind of cover the workload. But so there was one shift where I think I saw 4 women, not all of them had babies, but yeah, and sort of writing, and then, okay, I'm going into the next room, and yes, okay. And that kind of experience, because the matrons keep looking at you going, thanks so much, you're doing brilliant, and you just start to feel like, yeah, it's kind of like the adrenaline rush and positive feedback. It gets you high. And you know, we don't want the work to be like that, but that's how it is. So yeah, those kinds of experiences made me feel like, yes, I can do this. And I also had some fantastic, really raw, natural birth experiences where I was the only midwife in the room. I helped the couple to achieve something really magic, often healing past trauma and stuff, and just having really positive experiences and a lot of gratitude. And so, yeah, the other thing is my preceptor, my skill book. So it's so funny because you hand in your year 3 books and you're like, yes, fuck you, I never have to see you again. And then you get to your new job and they're like, here's a skill book that you need to fill out. And you're like, oh, thank you so much. But actually, I was doing okay with it, my skill book. I was quite hot on it. I was really more than, I think it was money motivation, because I'm the only earner in my house. So I really was looking for any opportunity to get the skills signed off. And I was also almost full-time. I was 34.5 hours. And I actually got my band 6 in month 11, which is really good. You know, they give it an average of a year. And considering the performance review stuff in the middle of it, 11 months was really damn good. And it was just because I looked for opportunities and kept kind of bugging midwives, like, could you please watch me do this? Could you please watch me? Please, because I really want to, yeah. The thing, I actually had everything signed off in month 9 except for bereavement. And bereavement didn't come up, which, you know, is fortunate, until month 11, and that is how. And then I did a few in a week, which was tough, but I got it signed off. And yeah, I sat down with my preceptor midwife and we were going through it, and it was a couple of hours we actually sat talking, and I remember her looking at me and just saying, considering what you've been through, you really pulled it back, and I'm really, really impressed. And I understand that some of it was about needing to come out, and I think that this was the process that you had to go through. And yeah, her saying that to me, it's kind of everything that I thought already, but someone else recognising it, and yeah, just being proud of me in like a professional environment. It was really like the thing that cemented it all and made it all okay again. And so I got my band 6. It takes a bit of time, so you kind of have your, we had a little interview thing. I don't know, it was very informal and nice, because obviously I knew the preceptorship midwife so well by then. And yeah, we just had to chat. We set some goals for the following year, you know, the next year of the career, things you kind of want to achieve, and things that maybe sort of short-term goals, then longer-term goals. So one of mine was wanting to do the mentorship program, because I am, and always have been, very excited about working with students. Yeah, so that was cool. And I think the matrons all kind of know who's got their band 6. It's interesting, the shift. So part of the matrons, or I'm sorry I'm using the word matron, okay, in my trust we still use that word for the band 7 coordinator of labour ward, and for us it's coordinator of all 3 wards, because it's such a small unit. Some trusts will have a coordinator for labour ward and a coordinator for the antenatal, postnatal wards, etc. Anyway, so we call our coordinator band 7s matrons still, and I actually quite like it. I think it's quite cute. I wouldn't even mind if I was like a matron as a man. I think that's quite cool. Anyway, so what was I even saying? Yeah, so the matrons get notified of kind of who has got their band 6. Yes, and so it's part of their role is to give extra support to newly qualified midwives, to band 5s, and just keep that slight eye on them, kind of check the note writing, kind of, they're very subtle about it. They're like coming in for their fresh eyes for the CTG, and they do just flick back and just check that you've not missed anything major. And I think that's really important, because they can give you little cues and make sure that, you know, you don't do something dangerous. And it's part of the teaching, and yeah. So it was a noticeable difference when they knew that I was a band 6. They were still very supportive, because obviously it's a very junior band 6, but definitely felt like I was kind of just left to get on with it a bit more, which again is another confidence boost. It's like, every time you move away from all that additional support, every time you take that step further and step further, I just got this, it just solidified the fact that I was trusted to do the job, and that made me feel good, and that made me work better. So I got my band 6, and then I did another 4 to 5 months in the unit, and I knew from about month 8 that for me, I wanted to, as soon as possible, either move out into a community role or to our standalone birth centre. And a lot of you might be thinking that I'd be suited to the standalone birth centre, and while you're absolutely right with that, I felt that community work as a midwife is sort of everything that's in it, that happens before and after someone goes into the unit to have their baby, or someone goes into the birth centre to have their baby. So I really felt that there was a gap in my knowledge and in my skill about the rest of it, you know, the pregnancy care, the antenatal care, and the home care and postnatal care. And it was something that I did really enjoy as a student and had a really good mentor for. So I felt that, yeah, maybe at some point it would be really cool to end up on the birth centre, and I might stay there for a very long time. But for a while, I want some really good, solid community experience as well. So I'm going to lean back, my back's hurting. Yeah, sorry. I probably sent my first email when I was only about month 9 and I hadn't got my preceptive yet, sort of saying I'm nearly there, and I'm really, really keen on community. Who do I talk to, you know? And people were great. They were just like, yeah, you email this person, and, you know, oh, big moth. But they were like, let us, you know, cool, great, you're interested. Let us know when you've got your band 6. So I got my band 6 and I emailed them the next day. And I was like, I've got my band 6 now. I'm really keen. I'm really excited. And it turned out that one of the teams in the community was really struggling. So I emailed both the matron for the birth centre and the community midwife manager. And the community midwife manager was desperate for a midwife. So that's where I went. I stepped into the shoes. So yeah, so we had a nice chat. We had a good hour of chatting, me and this new manager. We clicked and it was all good. And I told her, you know, as a student, I got quite a lot of community experience, and I was towards the very end of my course, when my mentor was very happy with me, I was left doing clinics on my own, and she would kind of check on things and sign things off and all that. But yeah, I feel like I have at least some solid community experience and all this. And she was like, great, when can you start, you know? And what took the months was that the unit couldn't release me that fast, because obviously you have to have the midwives to cover the shifts. So they took it to the end of the rota that was already put out, and for the next one I was then rotated into the community. And what was I going to say? I can't remember. Yeah, so the team needed me, and I was definitely going to say something. Damn it! I started in community, and it was very cool. Oh yes, that was it. So I took over from this amazing midwife. She'd been a midwife for 50 years. She qualified as a nurse, but very soon after qualified as a midwife, and was doing it for 50 years, because she tried to retire at the normal time and then came back for 4 years because she was silly, but also awesome. And yeah, just very cool. I did her last shift with her, I did her last clinic with her, and it was a very poignant passing of the torch, emotional day. And she said goodbye to what she'd been doing for all of her life, and I kind of said hello to what I might be doing for the rest of my life. And I went in the deep end, mate. I took over a big caseload of women. I went to full-time hours, 37.5. I moved to doing community. So before in the unit I was driving a bit of a way to a neighbouring town, but for community it was my town and round my house basically. So suddenly, rather than driving 40 minutes to work, I was driving 10 minutes to work, and the start was later, so I was getting quite a lot more sleep. Before I would get up at 10 to 6, and now I was getting up at 7, so it was a big difference. I had another supernumerary bit of time, couple of weeks, 4 weeks even, in community, and then I was going, yeah. So then in community, so I had 2 clinic days, and obviously visits and bookings and home births, you know. Going on call, we go on call once a week. It is the traditional model, not the continuity model, but we've got other continuity teams going on, so eventually it will all be continuity. A really nice team, nice mix of people who've been there for a long time and people who are newer. And also I joined that team when I was already out and known as trans and known as my nickname Danny, and it was just really good, really positive. I've been there for oh god, April, May, June, July, August, yeah, 4 months, and I feel like I've made a good bond with all the different people in the team. And I've just got my first lease car, so like a work car, and it's brand new, and when I got it, it had 10 miles on the clock, which I've never driven a brand new car. That was insane. I did my first home birth. I think I'm thinking I'm going to do a separate video about that. Yeah, just really cool. And so now I've been, one thing that was hard was I just started to feel confident in the unit, and then I came out to community and it was all new again, but the wobbly bit didn't last very long, and now I feel pretty confident and comfortable. Still ask people stuff every day. Me and one of the midwives joke because she's been there for so long, and I call her my oracle because I ask her everything. She always knows the answer. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's going well. It's going well. I was so excited. I've got a work phone. I've got my own community midwife equipment in the back of a new car, and yeah, and yeah, I did the first home birth. But yeah, I think that's about everything. And we've got up to where I am in my midwifery journey. And oh my god, this took a lot of time to talk about. It's a big topic, I guess. I hope you're still watching. Yeah, it's really helpful if you can subscribe and share my channel, doing lots of stuff about midwifery and being trans and how to care for trans people. Hope you enjoyed it.